The Sorcerer Killer versus the Hero Hunter. Toji versus Garou. Two of the most physically gifted and talented fighters in their respective verses, both donning the same outfit and both challenging the strongest characters in their verse. But who would win if the two were to fight? Well, today, me and my guest Satori are going to be answering that exact question. If you guys like the content and want more just like this, I recommend subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any videos I have coming out soon. Subscribe to Satori's channel as well, as he makes some great videos, and comment any ideas you'd like to see me cover. But without further ado, let's get to the video. Just one more thing before we start though, I want to take a moment to shout out the sponsor of this video, Anime Express. Anime Express sells clothing, homeware, and other accessories from all of your favorite anime like Naruto, Jujutsu Kaisen, Bleach, One Piece, and many more. So if you like anime and want quality clothing, along with many other items, I highly recommend going to check out Anime Express. And if you find anything you like, then use my code Prodigy10 at checkout. This code gives you 10% off your entire order, so make sure you use it. And thanks Anime Express once again for sponsoring this video. Now to start off, the versions of the characters I'll be using is Toji with his full arsenal of weapons and white hair human Garou. No other versions of Garou will be used of course, because then it just becomes very one-sided. Toji Fushiguro or Toji Zinnin is a highly skilled combatant in Jujutsu Kaisen, mostly due to his heavenly restriction. His body, which has no cursed energy, allows him to basically go undetected by any sorcerer he's fighting, as even Teen Gojo with the 6 eyes was having a very tough time tracking Toji's movements. Not only that, but his heavenly restriction also heightens his 5 senses to their peak, as well as gives him a form of precognition. As we see when Maki is fighting cursed Naoya, she explains that everything around her tells her how Naoya is gonna move. And then she goes on to say that Toji would have been able to do the same. Toji also has a wide selection of weapons to choose from when he's fighting, like the inverted spear of heaven, which turns off curse techniques, or the weapon that would be most useful to him in this battle, the soul split katana, which can bypass the durability of someone and directly hit their soul, effectively one-shotting their opponent. And since Toji has a one-shot weapon that can bypass someone's durability, his AP won't be that much of an issue in this matchup as long as Garou has a soul. If he doesn't, then the katana just won't work. But in regards to AP, he really doesn't have that much of concrete scaling, other than physically scaling above characters who can create an island with their cursed energy, and someone like Jogo who has a town level attack with maximum meteor, as stated in the fanbook. Although like I said before, AP won't be that much of a factor since Toji already has a one-shot win con. Speed however is a lot more important, and there's multiple ways to scale Toji's speed. One of course is Maki casually dodging cursed Naoya, who is stated to reach Mach 3. This however isn't the highest interpretation for Toji's speed, as Akari is shown to be able to react and move his head out of the way from Kashimo's sure hit lightning bolt, which is also calculated to be anywhere from Mach 8.6 to Mach 4760, so anywhere from hypersonic to massively hypersonic speeds. This might be consistent because even in the anime we see Toji be able to turn his head and look at Nue's lightning coming towards him in slow motion along with the strike. Then the next time we see Toji, he isn't even damaged, so it's likely he dodged the attack. Maki can also react to a stronger Nue's lightning as well later on in the manga, although not to the same extent as Toji. So if you agree with this interpretation, then Toji could be massively hypersonic, but if you don't, then it's likely the more mid-ball interpretation is just him being around Mach 8 or hypersonic. But that is all the important abilities and scaling for Toji, so now let's Satori explain Garou's side.
Garou the Hero Hunter is certainly a force to be reckoned with. From fighting off entire groups of heroes to taking on even some of the highly revered S-class, the human monster certainly isn't lacking in feats. But just how strong is he? Starting off with speed, there are 3 main metas for human Garou. The first and most conservative is the hypersonic meta, which comes from several showings, one of which includes fatigued Garou being able to face off against Genos, who was calced at 36 to 40 times the speed of sound. Garou should also scale far above monsters like Mosquito Girl, who was calced at Mach 81. Both of these feats happened very early on in the series, with Mosquito Girl being one of the weakest demon monsters we've seen, and the Genos who fought Garou having received as many as 5 distinct upgrades to his stats since performing that Mach 40 feat. To get a more concrete scale for Garou's speed, we can use his battle against the hero Death Gatling. During the fight, the hero unleashes a barrage of bullets, and there are so many of them that it looks like he straight up fired an energy beam. Garou, while injured, exhausted, poisoned, barely standing and dizzy, is able to react to and deflect each and every single one of these bullets, with this feat being calced at Mach 252, or massively hypersonic. This is Garou while not even near his best, as he considers Death Gatling to be weak, saying that any single S-Class hero is much more impressive than him. Garou, when healthy, can take down lower tier S-Class heroes without too much trouble, but here he struggled with Gatling, who he considers a nobody when compared to even the weakest S-Class, showing just how weakened Garou truly is in this instance. So when fully healthy, Garou should be capable of reaching much higher combat speeds. This is consistent given that Genos, 5 upgrades ago, was already in those Mach 40 ranges, and then proceeded to get so much faster that in the audiobooks he could blitz monsters that could previously give him a hard time. That same Genos then gets bodied by base Carnage Kabuto in that same audiobook, and then base Metal Bat can keep up with that Kabuto for 3 whole minutes, with Garou later facing a much stronger pumped up Metal Bat and casually outpacing him all throughout the fight. So all in all, Garou should be high into the massively hypersonic ranges with ease. Moving on, the next meta would be the lightning timer scaling, which comes from a databook statement about the hero Lightning Max, where it said that his kicks literally move at the speed of lightning. However, this is the least supported meta of the 3, as this databook is mostly written from the perspective of the Hero Association as literally promotional material about the heroes, so of course they're hyping them up. The book also straight up lacks information on several characters, and is unreliable when talking about the heroes. But if you do take the statement as valid, Garou should scale massively above Lightning Max, putting his speed well above the speed of lightning. And lastly, we have the Lightspeed meta, which comes from several showings. First up, Genos is able to dodge beams of light in his battle against the robot G4, and these beams are specifically called lasers and said to have the properties of light. This feat of Genos dodging the beams has been calced to around 0.3 times the speed of light, and he gets 2 upgrades from this before injured and poisoned Garou fights him, so healthy Garou should be approaching the speed of light or even surpassing it. The monster Awakened Cockroach also claims he can dodge lightspeed attacks with precognition, and characters like Atomic Samurai can casually slice light beams at 4 to 5 times the speed of light with no effort at all, with Garou downscaling from that. So those are the main speed metas, but what about Garou's attack potency and durability? This is where things get a bit crazy, as you can either lowball or highball, and there's nothing really in between, so it just depends what you prefer to go with. Lowballing, low-level characters like the Paradisers can easily punch down large buildings. Early series Genos can put a hole in a mountain, with this feat usually being calced from large town level to city level in destructive capacity. Garou scales to a much stronger Genos who could easily one-shot himself from way back when he performed these feats, putting Garou at large town to city level comfortably. And for the highball, this is where it gets crazy. You could potentially narratively downscale from characters like Sage Centipede. Sage Centipede is a being with continental to small planet level calcs, and if you want to be really generous to him, you could even place him at the level of Sairochi, who can be scaled to just plain planet level. And human Garou, despite how much he grows over the course of the series, probably isn't narratively considered billions and trillions of times weaker than his monster self, who could damage and eventually kill Sage. Even if human Garou is literally 1,000 one-shot tiers below Sage Centipede, he should still be in that country to multi-continental range, depending on what calculations you use for Sage. However, this is a very big highball, and it's a lot easier to just say that at some point of the series there's a gigantic chasm of a power difference between 2 tiers. Garou's last noteworthy stats to consider are his insane endurance, battle IQ, and combat skill. For endurance, Garou got absolutely clowned on by Watchdog Man and barely escaped with his life. Then he got kicked by Saitama, was knocked out for a bit, and when he came to, he had a bit of time to rest before getting jumped by 8 heroes while still weakened and injured. He then proceeded to fight them, received numerous blows, cuts, 2 poisoned arrows to the shoulder, got shot in the leg, got weakened from the poison, got dizzy, and then right after taking down the heroes, he fought Genos and received numerous blows from him, and then got the wailing of the century from Bang & Bomb in one of the most brutal beatdowns I have ever seen, and then, and only then, eventually passed out from all the damage, exhaustion, and blood loss. His vitality is also busted, as he survived a thorough slashing from Royal Ripper mere hours after this, though he did need some time to recover. Garou can also heal and fight even after getting his entire ribcage destroyed, but that's later on when he's more monsterized, and human Garou should not be able to replicate that. Now for Garou's combat IQ and martial arts skill. He is an insane prodigy, capable of copying and adapting to almost any style of combat after seeing it just once. He's capable of dealing with all sorts of hands, guns, knives, swords, spears, even weird stuff like slingshots and animalistic fighting styles. The longer a fight goes on, the stronger, faster, and better adapted Garou gets, sort of like a miniature Maharaga, although not as instantaneous or potent. Garou's battle smarts are also not to be underestimated, as even while fatigued and by self-admission not able to think clearly, he still comes up with various strategies, distractions, tricks, and tactics to beat all 8 heroes who are jumping him, taking advantage of any gaps in their well-developed strategy and capitalizing on them. And of course, Garou's crown jewel is the Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist, with which he can redirect almost any attack thrown his way and dish it back at his opponent with double the force. Garou also targets vital areas and joints on the human body, specifically being described as possessing techniques to break people. Garou is also capable of reading an opponent's moves, and in general possesses top-tier hand-to-hand combat skill, with nearly a dozen martial arts at his disposal, and is only surpassed by people like Bang, who are so good that their skill is described as being beyond simple mastery. However, I will know that there is a limit to how much Garou can deflect, and if an attack is completely incomparable to Garou at all, it will break through, even if it tries to block it, as we saw happen with Darkshine. So overall, Garou is a hypersonic to potentially lightspeed level combatant with large town to city level, or possibly, maybe, even country level and higher attack potency and durability, and he has top tier combat skill, combat IQ, and can grow and adapt as he fights. With all that being said, how does this fight between the Hero Hunter and the Sorcerer Killer go?
So now that the scaling is finished, how would the battle go? Well, I think that Toji would have to end the battle quickly, trying to use the fly curses to blind Garou so he can get a hit with the soul split katana to one-shot Garou before he can adapt to Toji's movements, because if he does, then it's just game over for Toji, and this is only if you take the interpretation that they are both massively hypersonic. If you believe that Garou is a lot faster than Toji, or take Garou's highballed interpretation, then Garou would just win easily because he would blitz in one shot. If you take Garou's mid-balled interpretation and Toji's higher scaling, then the fight becomes more so if Toji can hit Garou once with the soul split katana, which I believe he should be able to do, as long as he can catch Garou off guard with the flies like he did to Gojo or some other way. His ability to know how Garou is gonna move should also help him when fighting, although Garou should win nearly every hand-to-hand matchup because of just how more skilled he is than Toji. In the end though, any higher interpretation of Garou just speed blitzes, and when they are in a more evenly matched setting, I do think Toji wins more times than not, just due to his deception and one-shot capability. But let me know who you guys think would win down below, and if you made it this far in the video, why not subscribe and leave a like, as it helps me out greatly and I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Peace.